Kevin McQueen on guitar, Dan Steelman on bass, and Rich Harrison on drums.
Thanks, guys. That was wonderful. Great message in itself. So, the other day I went for a run, and usually when I'm running, nobody ever says hi. I always have to be the first one. Nobody ever says hi or hello or good morning or anything, and usually don't even say it back. But this morning, this particular morning, several people said hi first. And then I was almost done, and this little girl, she was probably about 7 or 8, she was with what looked like a babysitter, teenager. And she said, hi. And I go, hi. She goes, do you want to go fishing with me? And I said, I would love to, but I got to get home. But thank you anyway, and have a wonderful time. And I was just reminded by that how children are so open and so playful and so just, in their openness, how they allow change to happen in their lives. How we so often don't allow that dance. They just want to dance. So we're finishing up Elizabeth Lesser's book, Broken Open. It's the last week of this talk series, and this section of the book is on the river of change. And one chapter really touched my heart in this section, and it was on Hugo. If you've read it, you know that Hugo was a 10-year-old boy, a dancer, who was diagnosed with leukemia. And Elizabeth Lesser, the author, knows him, knows the family. And she had just found out that he was diagnosed with leukemia, and that night, she was going out to dinner with her husband, and at that restaurant, Hugo and his family walks in. And she says to her friend that she's having dinner with, I don't know what to do. I don't know, what should I say? And the woman who had also lost a daughter at a young age said, just show up. Just show up. And so she went and she showed up, and she tried to start talking to Hugo about dance, and Hugo didn't really want to talk. And so she just kept her arm around him and realized that you just had to show up. You just have to be there for people, that children especially don't need a lot of talking to. They don't need a lot of, in this situation, Hugo didn't need that. He just needed to know that she was there, that there was a presence. And Elizabeth Lesser talks about how children's God is different. They have not yet learned about a God that so many of us learned as we were growing up, about a God of judgment or a God of anger, but a God of just pure love. And she shares this poem from a 14th century Persian poet, Hafiz. Every child has known God, not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who knows only 4 words and keeps repeating them, saying, come dance with me. Come dance. Now, Hugo was a dancer. And Hugo didn't know, at this stage in the story, doesn't know all the hardship he's going to face going forward. But he does end up healing. But I love this poem because that's God inviting us, come dance with me. There's many different kinds of dances. There's the smooth, fluid waltz. There's the jerky hip hop. There's the graceful ballet. There's the tap. Makes a lot of noise. It's noisy. We don't always know what dance Spirit is inviting us to do. Sometimes we don't even know the dance steps. We don't know what life is calling us to do. Some are more smooth than others. Hugo's was not a smooth dance at this stage of his life. I get a daily email by Reverend Scott Aubrey, and he said he was inspired to follow the spiritual mandate, dance like nobody's watching. And so he did, and he felt free, and he felt joyous, and he was moving around in his yard. Little did he know that it turns out his neighbor was watching and thought that he was being attacked by bees. But who cares? This dance that we have with challenges, this dance that we have with disappointments, this dance that we have with joy, it's always changing. Life is always changing. I love how Reverend Rachel a couple weeks ago in her talk so beautifully talked about this dance, about who's in the lead. We want to let Spirit lead the dance. We want to let that highest, deepest part of ourselves lead that dance, lead that part of life, no matter what that part of life is showing, how it's showing up. Whether it's challenging or disappointing or hurtful or joyful. Let Spirit lead it. Follow that guidance. The first mention of dance in the Bible is way back in Exodus in the Hebrew Scriptures, the second book of the Bible, and it's Miriam. And they have just crossed the Red Sea. The sea had parted, Moses had parted the Red Sea, they've gotten through, and they're escaping from Egypt, and the sea goes back on all the Egyptians, and she's doing a dance in celebration. She's celebrating. And what that means, Miriam represents the soul. What it means is that she's celebrating the movement of God in their lives. That God, Spirit, divine mind, whatever you want to call it, is about movement. It's never just sitting still. It's always moving. And so she's moving in celebration of that. And that movement of God, that movement of Spirit, isn't always going to be easy. We know that. We've all been through some challenges in our lives. It's not easy. It doesn't mean the ride will be smooth. There's a Hindu goddess in Hindu mythology, and her name is Akrilanda. Akrilanda is a goddess that embraces change. Her name, Akrilanda, actually means never not broken. I love the double negative, never not broken, meaning she's always broken. And if you're always broken, you don't have to worry about breaking. And it's not that the heart is broken, it's that the ego is broken, the habits are broken, the patterns are broken. And through those broken pieces is where the light can shine through. She's pictured, her image is often, let's show the image, she's often riding a crocodile on a river. And a river obviously has bends and twists and ups and downs and waves. But the crocodile represents that reptilian part of our brain, that place where fear resides. And she's riding it. She's taking control of the fear. She's not saying there won't be fear. She's saying take control of it through all the changes and waves and ups and downs of life. Because what happens if we don't take control of that, if we don't ride the croc, is the croc is not known for it's known for its powerful jaw, but that's not how it gets its victims. It gets its victims by grabbing them and spinning them around until they're so dizzy they don't know what's going on and they get consumed. Just like fear can do to us. We can be dizzy with it. So we want to take control of that. We want to ride that crocodile. It's a great image to hold on. Whenever you're feeling afraid or you're feeling like there's too many changes, ride that crocodile. It's like She's never not broken. It's like muscle fibers have to break down in order to get stronger. When we're broken down, we can rebuild ourselves. We get stronger. It's also like a diamond that is cut. It's whole in its beauty, but it's been cut. It's been broken so that you see the many facets, just like us, the many facets of us, of who we are. Never not broken. So ride that croc. Ride that croc. This week, something happened in my life. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was hurtful and disappointing. And the next day, I was trying to make peace with it. And just before my meditation, I said, how do I make peace with this? I don't know what to do with this thing that happened. How do I make peace? And very, very clearly I heard, just choose peace. Just choose peace. It sounds easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. That each of us has this ability within us, this power within us to just choose peace. Again and again and again and again. And the meaning that I gave to this situation, after choosing peace several times, was that life is always changing. We don't have control. We don't have control over anyone. We don't have control over anything, really, except what's going on inside us, in our consciousness, in our thoughts. We do have control over that. And so if I'm going to choose peace in a situation that I don't understand, I know I'm not seeing the whole big picture. There's more to this. Because I believe nothing and no one is against me, as we just studied Eye of the Storm several years ago. Nothing and no one is against me, and there's a blessing in everything. And there's a blessing in this. Just choose peace. And what I came to understand and how it all unfolded was more love than I could have imagined. More gratitude. And gratitude on my part for having uncovered that or discovered that or recognizing that. Because I chose peace instead of staying in the place of hurt. It's a beautiful reminder to me that we have this ability within us. It's Unity's third principle, that our thoughts determine our experience of life. So what are you thinking? What are you experiencing? You'll know what you're thinking. If you don't like what you're seeing, change your thoughts. Change your consciousness. Change our experience. This is life. Life is always changing, the river of change. Always. And love it. We were given life. It's a gift. So much, or Elizabeth Lesser says this in Broken Open, so much of what we do each day is a diversion from what our lives are really about. Have you ever noticed that? If our lives are really about love, loving and learning each other, getting to know each other, getting to know ourselves, loving each other, as Rachel sung about, it's loving each other. What diversions are we putting up to avoid that? What are we doing with our lives if we're not loving and learning? Robin Allen is a woman who is an executive in Vancouver, in the financial industry. And she knew something was missing in her life. And she knew what it was. And she had a vision one day of herself as, she was 32 years old, but she had a vision of herself as an older woman who never realized her dream. And her dream was to dance. From the moment she took her first dance class when she was 16, she had a passion for dancing. But she knew through her dance classes that she didn't have the talent to make it professionally as a dancer. So she got into something else that she could do. She was very good in the financial industry. Her parents had taught her, if you can't do something excellent, don't do it. But what she did by not dancing was give up her passion. And so she had a couple of kids, she had a great family, a nice home, and she had a job that was demanding that she never left before 5 o'clock. And so one day, when she had this vision of herself as an older woman, not living her dreams, getting to the end of her life and having regrets, she decided she was going to leave at 5, she was going to get in a cab and go to a dance class. And she did. And her dream was to create a production, a dance production, where she was on stage in front of, didn't matter how many people, but to perform as a dancer. And so not long after she took that first dance class at 32, she met Androvi Mays, who was a dancer in LA, and he happened to be up in her area. So she called him up and said, I have this dream of doing this, of creating a dance production and starring in it. And they got to talking, and he supported her dream. And they started working together, and she wrote a dance production called Don't Break the Glass, which was a musical comedy about a woman in the various stages of life. And he was such a professional that he knew how to showcase her talent so that she was beautiful on stage. She said that they opened it, and it was so successful that they ended up doing many more shows. And she thought that because she was putting in so much time into this dance, that other areas of her life would suffer. But it turned out all other areas of her life got better. She was more productive. She was more engaged with her children. She got her kids involved in the production. She got her kids involved in selling tickets. That every part of her life got better because she had followed her passion. That passion, that desire, that drive in us that longs to come out is Spirit calling us. Express this. Express more. She went on to become the president and CEO of Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, becoming very successful, and she's also now a motivational speaker. She says that the greatest failure is to have never tried. So what in your life have you never tried? What is longing to come through you as you? Are you dancing between who you are and who you want to become? Are you just diverting your life? Just great diversions. We are invited to dance with Spirit, to let Spirit lead through all parts of our lives, through the ups and downs and turns and twists, and ride that crocodile. Take charge of that. That's our power of power. We can take dominion of our thoughts. There's joy in that. There's celebration in that. Miriam's dance. God's Spirit is moving in our lives. We want that movement. Are you dancing with a challenge right now, or a disappointment, or something fun? But dance. I hope you'll dance. There's fun in that. Elizabeth Lesser says, the promise of being broken and the possibility of being opened are written into the contract of human life. It's a given we're going to have disappointments and challenges. But brave pilgrims have gone before us. They tell us to venture forth with faith and vision. Just show up. Show up to your own life. Show up to whatever is showing up. That's what we're here for. To love, to learn, to live abundantly, joyfully. Answer that call when Spirit says, come dance with me. And like Akilanda, get on your crock and ride the river of change. I want to end this with a guided meditation using Elizabeth Lesser's words, because the end of this section in the book, The River of Change, is beautifully written. So I invite you to gently close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen to Elizabeth Lesser's words. And then we'll sit in the silence afterwards. May you listen to the voice within, the beat even when you are tired. When you feel yourself breaking down, may you break open instead. May every experience in life be a door that opens your heart, expands your understanding, and leads you to freedom. If you are weary, may you be aroused by passion and purpose. If you are blameful and bitter, may you be sweetened by hope and humor. If you are frightened, may you be emboldened by a big consciousness far wiser than you fear. If you are lonely, may you find love, may you find friendship. If you are lost, may you understand that we are all lost, and still we are guided by strange angels and sleeping giants, by our better and kinder natures, by the vibrant voice within the beat. May you follow that voice, for this is the way, the hero's journey, the life worth living, the reason we are here. Let's take that now into the silence.